Welcome back to the Raptor Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. I'm your host, Wim Luke, continue to be joined by co-host for today, JD Bunkus. I said before the break that we don't have Dwane Casey today. That means I doubted my producers because they made sure to get in touch with Dwane Casey, former head coach of the Toronto Raptors, former head coach of the Detroit Pistons. Dwane, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Dwane. I appreciate you taking the time, checking in with the Toronto market once again. We saw you actually on the Raptors broadcast, I think about 2 or 3 months back now. But I think that led to a lot of people asking the question, what is Dwane Casey doing right now? It's good to see him again. So, Dwane, I want to put that question to you. What are you up to?
Well, I'm in the front office with the Pistons and still here in Detroit. And I was there in Toronto. We were visiting friends for Christmas. That's something you're able to do when you're in the front office. You kind of make your own schedule instead of going by the 82-game schedule.
Yeah.
So we were there. We still have a lot of friends there in Toronto. Enjoyed our time there tremendously. At that time too, Pascal was still there, so we was really close with Pascal, and they had already traded OG. But so probably Pascal's probably the only kid that was there that I've coached that was. Well, Jakob was there also. I saw
right,
Jakob, but I always loved going back there. I had a chance to visit with Masai and saw Bobby, and so really enjoyed getting back there, catching up with everyone.
Yeah. Well, Dwane, I kind of wanted to start with the beginning, if that's okay, at least in Toronto, where Toronto is in a similar position as when you first took over, right? There's a couple of talented young guys, but there needs to be one of the big challenges for Darko, big picture, is how do you put an identity around this group? How do you get the young guys who individually have talent to play together? How do you establish a defensive identity? The Raptors obviously not a very strong defensive team. We saw it again last night as they blew the lead. But getting that culture in, that's the big picture. And I think that's when you came to Toronto, that was, at least to me at the time, just being a fan, that's what I understood your job and your mission was. So can you take us through sort of, the process that you went through to build that culture and establish that culture that has lasted in Toronto for a very long time?
Well, Darko is doing a heck of a job. I like Darko. I think he's a good young coach. He's a guy that has been at every level. And again, you're exactly right. One thing that we did when we first got there and to start the process, to start the program, was to establish a defensive identity. I think offensively, we're probably in the late 20s as far as offense was concerned, but I'd be daggone if we weren't going to play defense. And that's something we hung our hat on, was a defensive approach. And I think that's what Darko's trying to do. Again, it takes time with young players to understand the nuances of, especially against a team like Denver, to understand the NBA systems. But again, it took us a couple of years to really establish the step. I think we were in the top defensively my first couple of years, and then the offense finally came around. But to start a rebuild, you have to start it with a foundation of defense, a foundation of playing hard, competing each and every night. No matter, when you go out, you're going to be outmanned by superstars, so to speak, when you're rebuilding until Scotty gets to that level. But I do know that's the route you have to go to build it through defense, discipline, hard play, and playing together, sharing the basketball. And I see that coming with the Raptors and their players.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely see the ball movement. That's been really good under Darko. Defensively, it's going to take time, as you're explaining here. I guess, so my question to you is, how difficult is it to get younger players to sort of really buy into defense and playing at a high intensity? Because to me, it feels like a learned skill that veterans always talk about. Like, you got to know how to play hard, that is a skill unto itself. How do you develop that, will and identity to really lock down and play defense? Because a lot of defense is, more than anything else, effort and commitment towards playing it in the first place.
No question. That's a great point. And I think one thing you do is demanding holding guys accountable, understanding what are your non-negotiables. Is transition defense your non-negotiable? And if you don't play transition defense, if you don't get back, get matched up, are you coming out of the game? If you don't box out, are you coming out of the game? Everything can't be a non-negotiable, but certain things guys have to understand. And I'm not just talking about the Raptors. I'm talking about teams in general. they have to have non-negotiables, and that's something that tried to do here. When we started our rebuild here, you have to have things that, hey, if you don't do this, you're not playing.
Right.
If you don't crack down, if you don't talk, if you don't whatever your rules are, you have to have 3 or 4 things that are non-negotiable, and I think that's what's really important, and that gets guys' attention. If they don't, they know if they don't do that, hey, coach doesn't care if you the first pick, the second pick, third pick, whatever you are, you're coming out of the game if you don't perform that action. And you don't have to be a whip and chain guy. You don't have to do all that, but players have to know that they're going to be held accountable. And I think Darko's doing that. I think what's hurting them defensively now is Jakob, their center position. You're smaller in the center. I think they miss him protecting the rim. You got to have rim protection. You got to have somebody back there protecting the rim and erasing mistakes out on the perimeter, because guys are so good, guys are so athletic. Even back when I first started with the Raptors, offensive game has changed so much. Guys are so skilled at all 5 positions. They can shoot the 3. They can put the ball on the floor. So you've got to be on your P's and Q's on the perimeter, and then have somebody at the rim protecting it.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you first spoke with the Raptors, if the Raptors give up 120, I'm sure you would have been pretty mad. You would have been yelling at these guys, or at least making sure that they understood that that's not acceptable. Certain nights these days in the league, if you hold a team to 120, you might say, hey, great job defensively tonight. Really good job.
No question.
And that does.
I don't know if I would say that, but that's going to happen.
Okay.
And I don't care who you are. It's going to happen on 120 night because, one, the emphasis on the quality shots. I know when we were there, I think 2017-18, we were like top 5 in offense, and we thought we were cooking. And probably now we'd probably be in the middle of the pack because the scoring has gone up and shooting has gone up, and teams being disciplined with the analytical game. So there's so many things offensively teams are doing now that but again, you still have to have non-negotiables defensively to make sure they keep up to stay with the game plan.
Hey, Dwane, now that we're on this subject, and I've always wanted to ask you this, and I came into the media game a little bit later on, so I'm not exactly Doug Smith. I can't just walk up and ask anything. I've always wanted to ask you to tell us the story of how you brought the rock, right? Because that's the thing. Everyone knows the pound the rock philosophy. We know that the origins came from the Spurs, or at least that's what I assume. But the idea of having a physical boulder in the Raptors, in the building, tell us about that. Where'd you get that idea, and how'd you make that happen?
Well, matter of fact, you're exactly right. We're all thieves, and I did steal it from Coach Pop. I know University of Kansas had it. A couple other colleges had it, and so we had. One of our assistants to go out and get, and also Brian Colangelo to go out and get a rock. He went to a rock quarry there in Toronto, outside of Toronto, and brought this big rock in. And again, it's really where we were at the time. And every day you had to chip off at the rock, work hard. At that time, we didn't know how good we were going to be. It could be. We struggled the first year, but we just kept on chipping away. And so that pound the rock image and that mantra really, really fit our team at that time.
Yeah.
Jose Calderon. We had Jamal McGlory. We had some hard-working, hard-hat guys at the time. DeMar DeRozan was a young pup at the time. So we had to hang our hat on something, and that just stuck. We got it. We put it right there in the hallway outside the coach's office there, and guys would see it as soon as they come out of the locker room and go out. Some of them would touch it as they went out, and I think the marketing department went out and got some pound the rock, little miniature rocks to put around. So it caught on pretty hard, and everybody around, when I went around the country, around Canada, people would say pound the rock.
Yeah.
So it caught on, but I think the better we got, the less the less it stuck. And we moved on from it, but I thought it was pretty good, and once it did catch on.
Yeah, Dwane, I got to tell you, I started a podcast. This is when I was working at a different company at The Score, and we were trying to name the podcast, and I named it Pound the Rock because it was started out in like 2017, I think, and that was the name that we like too. It's a good phrase, you know. I'm happy that players actually interacted with, like, I don't know if anyone was like hammering the rock trying to break it, but the fact that players and coaches were touching this rock too, like I like it. It's
exactly.
metaphorical.
They went in and touched it, and I thought it was cool. I to be totally honest, I didn't think it would catch the way it did. But I would go speak in Winnipeg. I go speak in Vancouver, and people come up to me and say, "Hey, pound the rock." So that was really cool and made you feel good that we did have an identity. The team had an identity that fit the country, that fit where we were as an organization, as a team, and it helped us kind of work hard every day, and we did work hard. I look back now, and probably I would say 80% of the practice was on defense. And because we were challenged offensively just because of the personnel. But the one thing I knew we could do, we could defend, and the guys stuck with it. And then once we got better offensively, we took off.
So, Dwane, I mean, we can't talk about your time with the Raptors without talking about Kyle and DeMar, right? These guys are fundamental foundation pieces. I want to ask, since we're talking about the beginning, what were Kyle and DeMar like in the beginning? Because right now we see them as best buddies. We see them clowning around. I'm sure you've seen this more than literally anybody on earth, how much these two guys like to clown around. But at the start of it, what were they like, and how did that relationship between them grow?
It grew. It grew. It didn't start out. I mean, they started out. One thing was what kind of was tough was Kyle came in, and I think right after that we got Rudy Gay, and Rudy and Kyle. Rudy was, I think, Kyle's one of his sons was one of Rudy's godfathers, or I can't remember which way it was. They were really close. And so they kind of, so automatically Kyle and DeMar weren't close right off the bat. I mean, they were cordial to each other practice. But I think the year that we really took off, they got close. I think, their relationship grew. Now they're like brothers. They text all the time. Like I would be with DeMar, and he'll FaceTime with Kyle, and Kyle will FaceTime with DeMar. And so they're like frick and frack now. But you're right. It took it a little time to take off and grow. Two beautiful human beings. Kyle, I never forget, Jose Calderon was starting in front of Kyle.
Yeah, right.
And so Kyle was backing up Jose Calderon. And Jose is one of the most beautiful human beings you ever want to be around.
Right.
And so I felt sorry for Jose because Kyle would come in on a mission every day in practice and kick Jose's butt. I mean, I felt sorry for Jose. He was going to make sure he took that position. And he finally did. And I think we finally moved Jose. But Kyle was on a mission to prove that, hey, I'm better than Jose Calderon, in which it turned out he was. And the rest is history.
The rest is really history. No, I've really enjoyed Kyle because I feel like to fans, I mean, I don't have to say this to a lot of people, but Kyle really has a really great case for greatest Raptor of all time. He was here for so much of it, including the championship, such a beloved figure as well. And I think the one thing with Kyle is he always had that chip on his shoulder. He'll compete in a way that 99% of players won't go to that level to compete. But I got to imagine that means he's a difficult personality to deal with sometimes, too, as a coach. So
he's a pain in the behind, but he's your pain in the behind. That's a good thing to have. I love Kyle. We text all the time now, and I love him to death. But when we first started, we didn't. It was tough. I was trying to tell him. One thing that Kyle was great at, and we was trying to not break him of get him to cut back on, was offensive rebound. He would get one or two a game. But the other times, the other team would run back in transition and break us down.
Right.
So I was always on Kyle. Kyle, don't crash for us. Get back. And he finally broke it. And but that was our first confrontation was getting him from crashing from out to the three-point line. And again, he'd get one or two a game by coming in and getting offensive rebounds and going up under big guys and stealing.
Yeah, he could really jump back in the day.
He really could. But Kyle really, he worked to where he is. He became a great three-point shooter. And again, the team took on his identity. I mean, he was a gritty, grimy, hard-playing, hard-nosed guy. I don't know how many years he led the league in taking charges. And
you see the stat? He already leads the Sixers in charges taken for the season. He's played their 8 games.
Oh, wow. See that? There you go right there. And so your team takes on that personality. So that's worth its weight in gold right there. And And how great is it that he gets to go back home to Philadelphia? He's a huge Eagles fan. I never forget when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Kyle came in green head to toe. He had a green Eagles hat on, green jersey, green shorts, green socks. He was so excited about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
you guys gave him permission to go see that Super Bowl, right? Like, I think it was mid-season.
Sure did.
Yeah.
It sure did. He chartered his own plane and went to it, and also he went to Villanova's championship game too.
Right. Yeah.
So that was something I don't regret that at all, because that's something once in a lifetime achievement for Villanova. And if it had been DeMar DeRozan with USC in the championship, I would let him go. So,
that's part of coaching. You got to know when to give that sort of like give and take. And obviously those guys have given you so much, of course,
Yeah, exactly. So, again, it was. But I'm so happy for Kyle and DeMar. Both of them have gone on and grown in their careers. OG Anunoby. OG, he started him as a rookie. Everybody thought I was crazy, but he's developed his game into an excellent three-point shooter, one of the top defenders in the league. Pascal Siakam started as a rookie, and now he's one of the top players in our league. And so just happy to see where all these guys have grown and gone on to. Jonas Valanciunas, I remember everyone getting on me about letting Jonas. Is Jonas going to start? Is he going to play more? And brought him along slowly, shot the three slowly. And but again, just great to see them grow as players. And most of them now are fathers and husbands and family men. So all those things are what coaching is all about.
For sure. I mean, I think that speaks to this golden era that the Raptors went through that you were a big part of, which is like, the Raptors, before you took over and before they went on this like decade run, it was like a lot of like, I think the most games they won in the season was 47. They won the Atlantic Division like one time, and then you saw the progression, and it was like year after you guys would always bump up a little bit more. 1 year you guys got the defense ready, then they got the offense ready, and then 2015, I think that year, Kyle got really injured, and so without him, like obviously you guys are gonna have some troubles, and the Wizards series is probably one of the lower moments in that stretch. But generally speaking, it was steps to grow, and of course to see that all be capped off with the championship was such a beautiful journey to be part of. I didn't realize how fortunate I was as a fan to watch all this, but I do realize it more and more in hindsight.
You kind of take it for granted as you're going through it, and you, like you said, you forget the hard part. But again, I give it to Larry Tannenbaum, Tim Lewicki, Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, all those guys. They all had a vision. They stuck with it. Like you said, the Wizards, we got beat by the Wizards in the playoffs. They could have easily said, "Hey, Dwane, get out of here."
I remember.
Next year
we said good things about Kyle, but I remember Kyle gave an infamous point in the post game where they asked about him and you and how you guys were, and I think Kyle's words at that time was like, "Dwayne's the coach, I'm the player." And to me, that's that's kind of cold. But then you guys stuck it out.
Yeah, we sure did. No, it's one of those things that you go through those tough times, but you come out on the other side and you see the fruits of it. And I wasn't there to see it, but I was like a proud father from afar, even though we were trying to win here in Detroit. But I was still a proud father of what we had built and what the guys had put together and that type of thing. I was happy for Masai and Larry Tannenbaum. They, they went through the hard times, and it was, and the city. The city is a passionate sports city, and to see that for Toronto and it was great to see. It was a very proud moment once they won the championship.
Yeah, no doubt. I wanted to ask, how are things between you and Masai? It seems like you guys are good. I can imagine that it was a bit of an awkward phone call because Masai always talks about the two hardest things he's had to do in his job is telling DeMar that he was going to get moved, and earlier that summer, pacing around him and Bobby, like he tells the story like they're in their office, they're huddled, and they're building up the confidence to walk across the building in OVO to come to your office and let you know, obviously, the news that they were letting you go. Are you guys good now, and what was it like back then?
We're good. No, it was good. It was hurtful. It hurt like anybody would, but I understood it, and we had gone, ran like a hamster. We kind of gone through the ringer at the time. I probably would have fought if I'd have known they were going to trade for Kawhi Leonard. I probably would have fought a little bit harder, but no, I understood it. Like you said, it hurt.
Yeah.
But no, I've seen Masai hundreds of times since then. I worked the Giants of Africa camp, the Basketball Without Borders in Africa for a couple of summers now. We spent time over there together. I've seen it quite a bit. And then I saw, like you said, last at Christmas time, spent time with him there in Toronto. So, no, Masai is one of the top sports executives, period, in sports. To come where he come from, to start to where he started, it is a story within itself. And what he's done for the franchise there in Toronto is big time. But just his personal journey, how he got to where he is second to none. And so I'm proud to say I'm a friend.
Yeah.
I didn't like being fired by a friend, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy, but no, he and my family. He gives my wife a hug and kids a hug every time we see him, and I watch his kids grow up. And so, no, everything is all good, and wish him nothing but the best in whatever he does.
Hey, first off, that's great to hear, right? Because, I think when I think about Dwane Casey, I think about, again, in this golden period, like, people can disagree about certain things, whatever. Ultimately, the big thing was LeBron was in the East, and, like, looking back at it, I know in the moments I was like, oh, man, I know as a fan, even as a journalist, I'm like, I think, maybe Dwane could have tried this. Maybe he could have tried that. I think when I step back and I'm like, honestly, he could have tried anything, man. If LeBron stepped on that court.
Well, I laugh with Brad Stevens and Eric Spoelstra every time I see him, because what did he go, like 9 years in a row? And once I got let go, everyone said, well, we should have got let go too, because we couldn't beat him. So everybody tried. And and Masai did what any executive, you got to switch it up and change it up. And it was a decision he had to make, and it worked. So, but it's one of those things that he was a nemesis in everybody's rear end, and I laughed with LeBron about it. I told him he was the reason why I was in Detroit, and we laughed about that. So, LeBron is like you said about the golden years. The only thing negative about the golden years was his butt in the East. So, then when he left Cleveland, he went to Miami, and then came back. So he never left the East until we left Toronto. So he's one of those players that you'll never forget. But like you said, those years, I think the history books will be good for Raptor basketball at that time. Yeah,
my theory is every time he looked over at you, he would remember 2011 with the Mavericks. And obviously you were the defensive coordinator at that time, just like, I'm going to show Dwane this time. And then he did it 3 times. But
he did.
I wanted to pivot a little bit and ask about Nick Nurse as well. I mean, there was always sort of the speculation, and I don't know if it's fair or not, so that's why I want to ask you right now. But were things were okay with you and Nick Nurse when all it went down? Because obviously Nick did take over right after you, and he had been your assistant for 5 years. How were things between you and Nick at that time?
Right. Well, Nick did what he had to do. He took the job. I haven't, matter of fact, I hadn't had a long conversation with Nick since then. We've spoken everything, but there's no hard feelings with me and Nick. I'm more happy for the city of Toronto. I was happy to be able to bring Nick into the NBA, give him his first interview, his first job in the NBA, and just happy to see him take the reins and go forward. There's no animosity or no jealousy or anything like that. Between Nick and I know a lot of people made a lot of that. He's gone on now to Philadelphia and done a good job there. Nick's a basketball guy. And but again, he did what he had to do. He took the opportunity, which anybody would have taken. And, he ran with it. But I'm happy to know that matter of fact, the first conversation I had with Nick, he was playing in the championship game in the G League. I called him because I was asking a friend, I said, who are some of the top G League guys in the G League? And, they gave me Nick Nurse's name and another couple of names. And so I said, Nick, I'm going to give you a call once you are done with the G League. And I think they won the championship that year. And probably about a week later, Brian Colangelo and myself brought Nick in for an interview. And I think the next week is when Brian was let go. And I said, well, Nick, I can't hire you right now until we hire a new general manager.
Right.
So then we had to wait for Masai to be hired, and Then we brought Nick back in for another interview so he could meet Masai, and that's when we hired him as a coach. So it was a kind of a roundabout way to get there, but we finally got there, and everything turned out good.
All right, good, because the stories, I think, but when people were sort of putting two and two together, I don't think if it was like, I think it was just people putting two and two together and just thinking about sort of how it all went down. But I'm happy to hear that everything's all good.
Right. No, that's no.
Yeah.
And just like everybody made a big deal about, us coming back, and I think
that was my next question.
First year.
That was my next question.
And we were just trying to win. I mean, we made the playoffs that year. Blake was healthy.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin was healthy, which was huge. And, we had a good year that year. So just luckily we were able to beat Toronto, and everybody, he wants to beat Toronto worse. No, we wanted to win 82. Okay. I don't care if you're Toronto, New York, Cleveland, Chicago. We was trying to win. And, but everybody tried to make a big deal out of it. And I think the first game we got a tip in by Reggie Bullock.
I remember this very clearly.
And I was excited, not because it was – I was excited just because we won the game. I mean, on a tip-in, a play that we drew up. And so people can have all the narratives they want and that type of thing, but that's why they call them fans.
Hey, listen, I hear you. I think, honestly, speaking for myself personally, and I know I'm not alone, I think I was just salty because we were like, come on, we want these wins too. And why does Casey keep beating us?
The thing about it, I did know the players. I knew the strengths and weaknesses of the guys.
Okay.
I knew they were still running a lot of the same sets we were that I had run that year previously. So we knew the calls, we knew the sets, we knew the tendencies.
Gotcha.
That type of thing, but it wasn't any extra. Oh, I want to beat them. We got to beat Toronto. No.
All right.
We had a lot of fish to fry that year, and so, but it was fun.
Hey, you know what? It wasn't fun in the moment, but when I look back at all these moments, I just genuinely appreciate all of this because it was a really, really good time in Toronto, and yeah, I don't know. Do you still got the itch to coach? Do you still want to get back, or what's your situation?
I'm not sure. I enjoy what I'm doing now. We're in the middle of watching the draft. I'm getting ready to go to the SEC tournament and a couple of other tournaments to see. I miss coaching. I miss the camaraderie with the players because when you're on this side, you don't travel with the team. You don't have your coaches meetings every morning and your strategy sessions and that type of thing. So you miss that. But, so we'll see. But I enjoy what I'm doing now. I enjoy our owner, Tom Gores, and Troy Weaver, and our people here working with Monty and his staff. It's been fun. It's been tough. We've gone through a tough year, a young year, kind of what, probably not to the extent that the Raptors have gone through, but we've gone through a rebuild here for the last few years, which is these are the tough times for us. But we can see the light at the end of the rainbow, which is great. And so we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm enjoying what we're doing now and watching these young players grow.
Yeah. All right, Dwane, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for checking in once again. And it was really great to go through some of these times. It really was. So thank you.
No problem, guys. Great to talk to you. And we'll see the Raptors tomorrow night.
Hey, we will.
That's good timing.
You'll see a lot of Raptor fans in the building too. That's got to burn. That's got to burn some people in Detroit. The fact that Toronto just comes in and invades Little Caesars every time.
I told the ticket office when I was coaching the Raptors, we knew we were going to have as many fans here in Detroit, and we somehow, some way, we've got to block those tickets and not let. But they still come in, and they also do it with the Maple Leafs when the Maple Leafs play the Wings, the Red Wings. Yeah. It is packed with Maple Leaf fans. They bring buses down, and you were right here on the border. I went over and spoke for Richard Petty, who used to be the president. Right. He's right over in Windsor and done a heck of a job. And he's got a bookstore there and hotel, and really done a heck of a job in downtown Windsor there. So there's a lot of Raptor fans right here next to us, right? So I don't know. We have to kind of check the driver's license and see where they're from before we sell them tickets. No, but it's great. I think it's good for basketball to kind of have that boundary and that rivalry. next to each other, and Raptor fans travel well. You can go anywhere in the NBA, LA, Denver, wherever. Yeah. They're going to be there, and so which is great for the league and for the Raptors organization.
There you go. All right, Dwane, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, guys.